And it comes down to just who's showing up more on the day. And looking at the way that ONYX played on Inferno, I have the feeling that they have been the better team, not by much, but ever so slightly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't even know whether I agree or disagree. Like, it's a very difficult prospect to weigh this one up. What I do know is the fact that I think that ONYX looked lights out towards the end of that last map, so I kind of look towards them as having some amount of confidence there. And carrying that forward into the CT side of Mirage, where I feel like pound for pound, they are the better team by comparison to eSuba. But you're right about all the other assessments. Like, it is an abysmal map for both teams. They don't play it a lot. They don't win it a lot. Like, how do you weigh that up? Even the eSuba side, they're on like a 6 or 7 map losing streak on this particular map up in the last 3 months alone. ONYX have got to go back even further if you want to see any more results in that respect. So it really could go either way. It depends how much adjustment eSuba have done, whether ONYX can maintain control of the back of their last map win, and we get into the pistol round and see whether they can do just that. Our final map of the day here in the V4 Future Sports Festival International Online Cup. The Fuse kit into the ONYX smoke down for him as well. Util on Savannah and Blogis. P250 for Savannah as well. The USP getting boosted up for JR. Going to look for that first contact. Kills, sees the bomb carrier already, and will call in hard rotations from his teammates. One player already has short. JR tapping his way. Can't quite get any sort of tags up the kills. Will look for the man of Luco, who's dropped out of the window. Gets that first pick. Dav can respond. Does get overwhelmed with 2 more picks back for the T-side line. Impulse also gets involved, but it's a 3-on-2 advantage for eSuba.
Being able to just push forward out for the marker position itself does not quite work out for Impulse, and Bonnic's got to win a 1 versus 3. There is a player up close and personal, so it's at least 1 frag being found.
But no more than that. Petchin will deal with Bonnick as the last casualty of the map-up of the round, I should say, the pistol. Gained by eSuba. A solid start from this D side.
Yeah, eSuba just being able to overwhelm the B side completely. And for both of these teams, if you not only look at the last 3 months, but you look at this entire year, Jay, on Mirage, they both have a 25% win rate. 3 times has been won to come in for eSuba, and 4 times for ONYX. So, yeah, it's a map that doesn't get played very often, and a map that doesn't get won very often. So, coming into this, I think early starts and early momentum is going to be very important. And for eSuba, knowing that they were able to convert the pistol, they'll probably be up against a force buy.
A solid start for now. Will it maintain solidity as time rolls on is the big question. Pistol gained, rebuy, of course, for ONYX. We've seen a couple of conversions tip back and forth over the course of this series today. eSuba, the MAC-10s on most individuals. They've got a couple of rifles in Twist and Petchin. Out for Blogis being the main sniper right now for the T-side line. It smokes off towards Apps, walk into underpass. eSuba going for mid-control.
Yeah, Dav playing up in ladder itself could be able to catch information if there is a split play into that short angle. JR going to be smoked off in the top of cons and just re-smoking down at the bottom. eSuba got a lot of players in for this mid-default.
Might as well be set. The rotations yet to be seen. Smokes on. Pressure involved as Petchin can see Dimkey tagging a 1 point of HP. Look towards the player over at the connector control, and JR and Impulse somehow come up with exit frags. 2 casualties taken, a bit more to be attempted by Dimkey. He can't quite get Luco, so they will gain the B site on eSuba's part.
Yeah, Savannah's desperate for another kill in for this marker position and deals with that CZ of Bondic. Even sees the next player at JR2. They're coming in quickly for the short position. Where's the teammates for the support?
Well, traded. Impulse finds 3 kills. Luco, all that remains. Way back out of position. JR's low, Dav is also low. Those could be easy pickings as JR is isolated. Great kill. Now they know where he is. Swing back onto Dav. Could line up the player in the back of Impulse, doing a ton of damage, but he gets a quadra in the end, and the pistols come up good for ONYX to steal the conversion.
I'm really lost for words. I don't know how Savannah gets the pick out from market. He's out in the open. He sees 2 players on short, and where are his teammates? No one's peeking on the contacted at all, and it just allows Impulse to get a majority, huge amount of kills in that round.
Really nicely done for ONYX, and for Impulse especially. Again, quadra out for him. 1 on the Eagle, 3 on the AK. Wonderfully done overall for ONYX. Again, the pistol conversion goes the way of both perplexed sides. 1 versus 1 on the board. The MAC-10, the Tech-9, the Galil out for Luco. Nades in initially to try to dish out some damage for Dimki. I think he caught one player in Twist. The secondary nade back for Dav should be a bit more close to the center of mass, and indeed it is. Heavy damage sustained as they pour out of the apartments. Right, go for a quick B hit. Dimki can catch up a kill on the sidelines. Dav will make a triple overall, and Petchin, all that remains in the site itself, caught off by Dimki's flank, and the ONYX take the lead early.
Yeah, decent utility usage just to be able to get the chip damage through of those HEs up to the apartments. And just the crossfire being set, the two Serbs of Dimki and Dav just being able to defend that B-side. Rotations coming in from JR out from Underpass. You've got a rotation from Impulse in Marker 2. And even those players aren't really necessary. And we have seen a lot of force by victories, haven't we? Sort of these back and forth natures. Been quite sloppy over the course of this best of 3. And for ONYX, actually works out alright for them on Mirage. Now they've got the opportunity of going 3-1 up.
Incendiary set for Dav, trying to get towards Underpass and siphon off these players that might make their way in from that angle. Mid control has been the name of the game for eSuba. In this particular eco round, you're probably not seeing much of the name of the game at all. Impulse. AWP can't swing back towards Luco, bail out his teammate who got heavy tag damage thanks to the efforts of the pistols in mid. D for Master JR next to focus up. Dav is pretty low. They need a bit more support to get him out of dodge. But a 5-on-4 ensues. ONYX have the advantage.
Yeah, Bondic just catching some info out from the ramp position itself, getting quite aggressive in the matter. Still having Impulse being able to collect frags.
Bondic to follow up as well, maintaining the advantage. Both players now seen. JR has all the info they need. Still getting tagged up, all pit for a collateral. Oh. Nice and effective for Impulse. Another quadra for him. It's ONYX on a roll in this early game.
Do we put him as an honorary Brit, Jay? Because I know he played quite a bit in the UK scene, didn't he, Impulse, back in the day?
Did he?
Of course, mate. He played on Endpoint.
Did he?
And Fierce, he played with AVN. What are you on about, mate?
Did he?
How do you not know this?
Hold on, I'm going to verify this. Cast this round. I'm going to have to verify this real quick. Hold on.
Well, for eSuba, they do have an interesting boost coming through from that top mid position. Blogger's looking down into Connector itself, and you'd have to imagine that for ONYX, with Impulse being able to find as much success as he has in the early portion, just trying to see if they can keep getting him involved. He is playing out quite aggressively in from the Palace position, looking for an opening pick, and for eSuba, just continuing working out their mid default.
Wow, for most of 2019, you were right. Endpoint and Fierce. All right, he's an honorary Brit in my eyes. If Robin can be an honorary Brit, then I think Impulse also gets the qualifications. Well, upsetting for him, still waiting for T-side contact. As you mentioned before, that mid-control established by eSuba. In from ramp, one T-side player tries to walk out with the sniper's nest being gained by Luco. Gets the kill on JR, starts off on the right foot as the eSuba gain the man advantage.
Dav just waiting for a jump up on this bench position. Instead, going to get resmoked. Oh, he's going to press forward of it.
Can he catch? They might think they're clear. They think wrong. Two heads seen. Oh, the spray goes awry. And Savannah can get Dav to drop. Dimki also finds Luco next. Advantage eSuba as they converge on the A site. The AWP of Impulse, unfortunately, not quite as good in this round as he has been in previous. But it's a backstab for Bondic. This round's not done. He can deny the bomb plant here if he times it right. He'll see two players, get them both, swing back for the triple. I think he got it, but no. Petchin and Twist hold their trades and just hold the round for the tees.
Oh, there is so much going on in that. Dav just whiffing, not even getting one kill down to Connector. Impulse struggling with the orb. Dimki and Bondic, they're just trying to waste time. Great lineup for him to be able to find a couple of kills, deny that bomb from getting planted straight away. The kills coming quickly for the T's, and eSuba, they answer back quickly.
Yeah, all important. Big round for eSuba to maintain control over the rifles. Of course, the MAC-10 in for Savannah is going to be the limiting factor, but I have Dimki on the lack ahead Kevlar means that eSuba still have that potential. Walks in the position. Of course, the underpass taken by eSuba. It's pretty passive and pretty quiet.
Now, even in this round, ONYX have got an interesting setup towards that B site. JR being able to spot some information down to that underpass position, so think about bringing rotates back over. Might even boost the up into short, as the T's do the same into window.
Raise through, JR. Catching his frag onto Luco. Raids on, damage done. Petchin will be able to find JR on a responsive, so it'll be a 4-on-4 scenario. Rifles held together. MAC-10 still waiting. I'm waiting for the next contact peek in from eSuba. They're going to converge in on the A split. Player in connector seen. Petchin gets his kill together. Dav can get one trade, which was responded to by Bloggers very quick. So it's a man advantage for eSuba.
I don't really know if ONYX go for this. They're out of position. They need to pick in quickly. And even for Dimki, he can't see anything in from that top of connector due to it being smoked. Best bet just to hold on to the rifles. And eSuba, they're now starting to string for a few rounds together.
Gain that pistol, lost that conversion, gain the 2 rounds to follow up, and that's going to cripple the economy of ONYX. Not allowed such an early start and an early advantage here for them. 3 apiece. They should not be a force buy, I wouldn't say. The second stage of loss bonus means that there's probably going to be the basic couple of rifles and these 2 players to save.
Yeah, you can't really expect a buy to come in and around this, so upgrade the pistols ever so slightly. ONYX might be thinking about, okay, Deagle Kevlar, he's got 4100, so he's got some more money to work with. And JR even starting that round off with a good start in from really the mid position, but just not being able to get the trades. Dav getting caught off by the AWP pretty much ended that round, and they are going to buy it up. This is quite uncharacteristic.
Force Invest all come through. They get a second M4 out, but they lose that AWP in an instant. Bloggis nades on. His teammate also naded himself, so that's also not that great. But they have gained the advantage, and for eSuba, that's more than great.
Yeah, Bloggis, just a great pick, being boosted up and making sure that AWP never goes back in the hands of the CT side, turning away for the flash. Luco even catches JR. Bloggis on as well, and my goodness, that whole round is just over in an instant.
Yeah, easy pickings for eSuba. That just felt like such a confident explosion of a round for the T side. Dimki and Bondik siphoned off from each other. 3-man advantage for eSuba. No matter where they go, they're basically just going to have all the control they want.
Bloggis has chucked one of those rifles over the wall, so that's at least making it more difficult for the CTs to be able to recover any. To be honest, though, are they going to go back out to mid? They might as well just stay on B.
They form up with each other, recognizing that no one's in market or the mid window area. They are going onto that A site, however. Incendiaries just checking out positions. Smokes will come down. Jungle and connector smoked. Molotovs in as well for the T side. Line twist to start walking. The Molotovs back over towards the ticket booth will ensure there's no CTs out there. But very quickly, eSuba are going to connect the dots and recognize that no one's here. Bomb down. Best not to go for the hunt. They have still got a bit of a money deficit to keep all 5 weapons in play and leave ONYX to their own devices.
Yeah, this could be quite competitive from the start. All comes down to the money game now for ONYX, because they didn't need to buy there, did they? They weren't double eco status. It wasn't as if they were forced onto buying down completely. They thought to themselves, okay, we've got opportunity to make something of it. Now you've got a couple of M4s. The loss bonus still isn't really there. I say I don't expect another force buy. ONYX did it in the last round, though.
eSuba will get in the lead. But I feel like at this one, given the force buy that he already had in this particular round, it might not be that likely to see another force coming in for them. Great sequences in mid, great trades overall for the T side line. With no damage being done by ONYX, they can't really justify it. It's like, if you force the issue here and you had like 3 casualties with all the players still being low on money, then fine, you could reset. But you can't do that, so it's just a risk that's not worth taking.
Now for eSuba, just realizing that they're not going to be up against the best of buys in the world going into the next. And JR waiting for the little lamp for someone just to get aggressive and move forward of it. Savannah could lose this AK in from Palace itself, and yeah, he only gets 1 kill before being traded.
Nice responsive from Bondik, going to keep things at a relatively close affair. JR feel his angle over at the sniper's nest, spamming his way on towards that short contact, hoping that eSuba are going to have their backs turned towards the Eagle, and they can't really do much there. Kills found on the 4 versus 4, and they keep walking their way forward into the A site on the lurk, but onto the B site for the hit.
It all comes down to the stack play, and for JR trying to see if he can catch the lurk in from ladder. It does seem as if eSuba are bringing that bomb into B with a fake on A.
JR pick onto Petchin. Finally, that trade comes together for the CT Deagle. Luco Back for that bomb to pick it up, and Blog is ready with the orb to catch off Dimkey, drops one of the rifles. Still 2 AKs in the hands here of the CT sides. There's potential on this retake. They haven't got a kit, though. Do they think it's worth it? They are forming up. The bomb goes down, and they're still being tentative about this. JL's backing off.
They were so caught off guard. Dimkey just had his knife out, running through from Marker, just not even having the awareness that they could have walked out from the apartments, and they're posted for that exact angle. No jiggle peaks, no jump over. eSuba up to 5, and ONYX, they had an early lead to start here on Mirage. It's been taken away from them pretty quickly.
That's been another round for eSuba, a 5th up to their board. I mean, it's still an eco win for ONYX because they've got 2 AKs out of this. Lost an M4, fine, but they can rebuy that with AWP potential. A lot of firepower working for the CT side. They'll carry it forward to another good force buy in the round following this if eSuba can take a 6th. A lot of potential in ONYX thanks to their eco efforts.
But Bonnet can drop an AWP. Impulse might be thinking about it himself. I wonder if they do go double AWPs. I know that Dav doesn't mind doing a slight amount of double AWPing for this ONYX side as well as JR. eSuba. Just trying to see if they can lead from the front, continue putting these rounds up. Slightly more aggressive with the mid-take. The AWP looking to entry.
Impulse will get that first frag. Twist can trade it back immediately. AWP for Savannah. Back in on his hands as they do lose Petchin as well towards mid control. The player in Sniper's Nest is doing so much. Impulse with a triple. Finally burns towards Twist as Loco looks upon Nick. Can't get his kill together. Struggles against the man. The M4 finally picks him up. And Savannah's left alone to get rid of that AWP and try to see what damage he can do.
Oh, that looked awkward for a moment there, didn't it? Bondic struggling with the pick. Savannah with the Glock. Just trying to get the AWP away. Sees the player out from underpass. He's isolating the picks.
Back around out of dodge to grab that bomb. Well, they can push it in towards that A site. Get a bomb plant. Perhaps the CTs have gone away. It is winnable to a certain extent. Yeah. It's going to be extremely difficult, though. I think Dav is watching this palace entrance.
If he flies out, though, and gets that bomb down at default, he opens up the opportunity of a post-plant scenario. It all just comes down to this first jiggle, and the first fight's not even being watched in Palace now.
Yeah, Dav rotated away, going back into the B stack. This is perfect for Savannah. This is very winnable now. He gets the bomb down. He'll force the CTs to come to him.
He's got util as well. Put a smoke down towards CT. He doesn't have the information. That should give the information forward for ONYX to start rotating away. And Dav and Bondic have got to work together. Bondic's tagged up.
Coming in as well to that short access, which is where Savannah was looking towards initially. Gets ahead of the CT spawn angle. And now up to Ticket Booth to engage against these two players. Where does Savannah go about this? He'll make noise. He'll give up the info to the CT forces. They'll make their way in. Did they not hear that footstep? Maybe they didn't. Bombs in the open. Chance available. They must realize he's in CT now. Dav, eyes set. Smoke gone. He gets on top of the box, but doesn't get his kill. Dav secures the frag, and ONYX will find 4.
It was a good attempt. I'll give him a nice try in that one. He gets the bomb down. He isolates as many of the picks as possible. And just, it gets watched. Dav being in the right position at the right time. Out from mid, it all started off quite poorly. Impulse getting away with a couple of kills. Even makes it a third before he burns to the incendiary. And Luco and Bondic just having a difficult time between one another. And to think that they were able to get the AWP away, they get one more pick and a bomb plant. It seems okay for eSuba.
It works. Aids on the new damage. AWP Blogis can work with this particular round at the disadvantage. Down at 57 HP for the AWP. Of course, the rebuy in for eSuba. Still have a little bit of a basis for Twist and Blogis to work from. Rotating that bomb out of apps to try and join that mid control.
Twist on the late lurk has got to be able to really start pushing forward once enough of the distraction is pulled away. JR getting smoked off from window again, just working with that lamp vision. Not a lot of fights being created in mid, though.
Wonders get generated by Impulse, who wins out the kill in from CT spawn. Looking down into the connector control, catching Savannah. Kicking things off with an advantage for the CT side. Bondic also takes fight out towards Twist. Deals with a Palace player. Impulse can double up, lean back in for a bit more. Baited in that AWPer. Careful when he takes face towards, sees the man out of the connector now, and Bonding can get that next kill, leaving Bloggers alone in the 1 versus 5, and ONYX have locked them out of the sight and locked them out of the round.
Yeah, Impulse is finding a lot of success. Bondic with a couple of kills, JR even finishing off the job. They completely run over the double AWP, so it doesn't seem like they're interested very much to have it on that CT side. eSuba just getting absolutely pummeled in that round, and really, Money's in a situation where it looks okay for some. Petra and Savannah can't say the same.
No, tactical pause might have to be called in to figure things out for eSuba. That's exactly what they're going to do right here. Maybe a half buy to get themselves in line with Savannah and Luco. Now an opportunity for the guns to come out in the next decent round. They can get an AK and a Mac 10, so it's kind of a bit of a nice half investment set up. Tech9s and other players. So it's not terrible, it's not great either.
And for Impulse, he is really starting to move ahead from everybody else. 14 kills and 4 deaths going into round 11. And he's probably the golden prize, I want to say, for ONYX. Someone that we've got to keeping an eye on over the course of this entire map. Not only the first half of just how he continues to do damage.
eSuba set with their smokes to go down onto the A site. The set piece execution. Incendiary back from Bonding, going to try stop them. Spray through on towards ramp. Nade's doing a ton of damage. Impulse gets his kill. The blind fire on Twist also catches him at the default plant position. 5 on 3. The bomb yet to make his way up to site just yet. Petchin getting flashed in against Impulse, but he's also just as blind. He'll siphon off this one position at Sniper's less than jungle entrance. Swings on. Shot missed out for the AWP, so he can get 1 kill. But Dim quick hit for the response. That's still good enough. Breathing room being bought out by the T side to get that bomb plant in. And that's good enough for this particular round. 3 players alive for ONYX. So they gain the advantage. eSuba will gain some money.
Now, ONYX just really, in terms of rotates, not only are they quick, but they get into the right positions. Because you could see there for Impulse, he's struggling. He's stuck there in jungle, knows there might be an aggressive move. How quickly Dimkey is able to get, what, in from the murder hole, and even Dav just in from window itself. Yeah, they do lose that AWP, and they lose Impulse. They pick it back up immediately. It's just players supporting each other in a very good nature. And that gives ONYX back the lead, and for eSuba, now they've got to fight for it again.
Now we've got the buy-in to try and do so right here. Back into that mid default for 2 individuals. 2 players also out of the apartments. Expecting CTs to aggress here towards underpass or from the apartment's entrance itself. No one's going to give up those angles though. Generally pretty passive from ONYX. They're going to wait for eSuba to make the move.
Yeah, Petchin thinking about turning away from a flash, comes through, slow walk out. Oh, they saw the one player get into ladder.
Information to work from, but no one can directly punish it. Nades on instead, landing directly Incendiary, actually on towards that player in underpass. Drives Luco back for now. Player in ladder, I'm just going to sit here and try and counteract anything the teams might throw at them. They are set towards connector, 60 seconds left. eSuba pulls the slam on the brakes.
This is a really good position for ONYX. They've rotated the AWP back over to the B side. They've got 1 in from ladder and on short side. They've really got 3 players on B.
Barna swings, Dimkey gets his kill. Petchin traded back by Dav on a 2-for-1, and blind fire onto the last few remaining players in the apartments. The AWP of Impulse wraps up, sees 1 and catches that shoulder bait. Sees the second player popping out. Dav can deal with him, and Blog is alone to fall down to the pistol. He does find that 1 engagement, but 30 seconds to find them all. He has no idea where Dav's shooting him from. As ONYX find now a 2-round lead.
They're reading the game well. They're being able to catch these setups. Notice the bait and switch. So Dimkey takes the first drill out from short, and as soon as he does, Dav swings with him. Impulse hitting some cracking shots with the AWP, being able to get traded quickly, and Dav being able to follow up with a triple. The AWP trying to go for a frantic no-scope. eSuba starting to let this lead from ONYX run away.
Walks forward, straight in, AUG out, JR gonna look in for these CT individuals, taps forward, Tech9, catches his man, great kill to open, and a double up for Luco, AWP in his hands, gonna catch a triple! What a sequence! Straight aggression to the CT side, Bondic is gonna get a couple of trades together, but it's him and Dav versus the world.
They don't know that Dav is on here on the short side. So if this AWP slightly strafes over to the left-hand side, that may be caught out into the open. Petchin's got into market and whiffs it onto Bondic.
What a shot. 2v2. Luco is going to cover off the A site, allow the rotations to come in from Bloggis. They think it might be a B play, but I think they think wrong. Bomb will go down. ONYX have a HP disadvantage. Kits on both individuals, though. Do they want to go for this retake?
You'd have to imagine so. There's so much money for them to work with. You can't really afford to let eSuba still around like this, and ONYX knows he's already rotated in quickly.
Hearing footsteps as one player engages from short. They're ready for Luco. Shot missed out for the AWP. Tech9 gets back out of dodges. Bloggers takes engagement. ONYX, 3 kills to his name. On for the quadra. Now got to look for the ace. Luco got to do the exact same thing to hold the round for eSuba. Looking out. Gap in the box. Smoke down. Shot does not connect. He takes his firefight though. ONYX on the bomb as Dav secures his pick and secures the 8th for ONYX.
A beautiful recovery coming in from ONYX. He was the sole reason that they were able to recover that round. And you feel for Luco, because this is a sick play. This is one of the greatest plays we have seen all day. And it doesn't lead to a round victory. He gets 2 picks with that Tech9. Even spins around with the orb to catch off the rotate. And then ONYX gets 4. Dav finishes off the job. And it feels like that whole sick moment was wasted.
Yeah, it was sort of hindered by the fact it was eco, so eSuba didn't have a lot of defensive against ONYX's rifles. But even so, that is going to hurt them big time. They knew that they had that round on the wraps because a Tech9 turned an eco into a 5-on-2. Somehow, some way, against all odds. Still, ONYX were able to bring that back. eSuba, tactical timeout for this next round with guns back in, and the investment can still make it an 8-7.5. ONYX, limited on economy stay, but they got some high rollers, so I think they should be able to buy back for the last round of the half.
Put that incendiary up to top mid and just start spamming through that smoke. Have to catch any early damage onto the T side. ONYX have even aggressed JR quite aggressively out from ramp. He's decided to move back ever so slightly now. eSuba, they just need someone to open up. Just be able to start getting 1 or 2 entry kills and just some more success. Starting to get the feeling that players are just flat.
About a lot of flatness lately, aren't we? Penalty set in, the smoke set and ready for JR. AK ready for Petchin to expect some CTs to press the issue. 60 seconds remaining. Smoke goes down, counter smoke involved with the incendiary to follow it up from the CT side. Savannah going to try to be the first man out of the gate, but he's going to wait for a little bit, wait for flashes to come in. Body block on utility, turns around on JR, gets that kill. 1 at Firebox, 1 at CT, 1 coming in from jungle. JR's the only casualty thus far. They're still waiting for a secondary pick to come towards their way. CT players aggressive. Savannah will get that next individual. 5v3, making it 2 as Luco will get 1 pick. Impulse burns 1 back from the CT spawn, but still a 2-man advantage, and it's not going to change here for ONYX.
Oh, they're going to try and go for the wallbang shot. Savannah with another pick into the round. And this is what we want to see. Dimki now the last one left, trying to see if he can get the round together. Savannah again getting a 4K in this round. And what a start that was. That flick over to the left-hand side as he gets out of ramp. Jeez.
Solid stuff from him. Absolutely solid. The perfect start. If only that orb shot had connected, it could have lined up against 2 individuals. The tactical timeout comes back in for ONYX now, recognizing they probably shouldn't have lost that round. eSuba with the explosive players, and how do ONYX counter that?
Well, I look at that round, and they played it really well. They had the good read. They've been reading the stacks, or at least putting themselves in stacks, reading the T side to a very fine line. Notice how they were out on A. JR playing anti-flash from the other side of ramp itself. They've got another 3 players on A. So in terms of the read and the positions, they're all there. What didn't happen was dealing with Savannah.
Ball gets boosted up to try and deal with the first player out of the CT side. Can't catch that individual crossing. JR leans in with the AUG. Nades on. Damage done to him. Incendiary set back for the CT forces. Counter nades up towards the stack position. Great flash timed in there from the T sideline and enables Savannah to get that kill on JR, but Dav there with a response alongside Impulse's orb. 4v3, Molotov going to be completely negated on Luco.
Dav is waiting for a peek to come up from that bench position. It does still lose his teammate of Impulse, so yeah, he gets the trade back. It's still damage being done, and now for eSuba, they've got to start working this mid default with a couple of players, and even for ONYX, he's getting aggressive up on A. The CT's now starting to split their measure. Dimky making an info play aggressing in the apartments.
And that 1-for-1 trade in that mid control still leaves to the man advantage for ONYX. Boost up for the AWP as Twist walks in. On his way out here at the murder hole, a 45-second marker for eSuba. That bomb making his way back in from underpass. Yeah, Dimky knows. He's in kitchen. Blogger's got a hard check the left-hand side, and what's the motivation to do that? Scope in has been heard. As soon as this kill comes in, it's just going to be round done. And he just waits. Stav gets the kill. Dimky closes out. A 9-6 half for ONYX, as they do have a couple of struggles, but they come out on top going into the second half, what could be their final half after the break. ONYX hold the lead, and a pistol could set them up on victory row if eSuba can't deal with them now on the CT side of Mirage in our second half for the final land qualifying game. Zavala's going to draw first blood. JR draws it out very quickly. The T side contact. ONYX make their way into the A play. Look for that bomb plant as Dimky, the next place of this player towards falling. Now another kill back in for Petrin. There's a gap at that smoke. Dav exploited. JR traded. 2v3 as the bomb can go down, but the CT's so hot on their heels, so quick to the side. Petchin with his frag, Impulse with 2, looking for a triple. Could it be another great round for him? He'll tap his way and get his 3K to steal it back for the T side.
Jeez, he's feeling it, isn't he? He's having a great map here on Mirage and continues that forward in the pistol. It seemed as if JR wanted to really aggress, take that CT control, then realize, hang on a minute, I've got to get back to the side. Tries to get the fake in to draw the CTs out into the open, and Impulse winning the 1v3. He's up to 21 kills.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from him. Hell of a way forward, ONYX. all-important gun basis now for the conversion. If they can follow it up, they can put eSuba on a serious back foot. One that might be enough to get the map for them. Their T side, the world is their oyster. Tags initially coming in towards that scout player. Bloggers are going to get forced out of Sniper's Nest.
Even Luco getting denied any of the vision. HE down to the bottom of Con's going to try and do as much damage in as possible. This is going to be a split into B.
Dimg's out, flash forward, spray through from Twist, gets 2 kills for it. Dimkey there with a tray can, double up, player out towards bench, going to be overwhelmed by Dab here as Petchin struggles to deal with that individual, but this individual struggles to get him all the same. Sprays through, smokes down. The second CT now out the market doorway will take an engagement, and indeed Dab will win out that fight. Luco engages as well. JR finds that pick, and Petchin now all that remains 1 on 3, backed up away from the B site. The bomb will make its way towards the A play.
Very clever. Very clever here from ONYX, because even if that kill comes in, you're still bringing that bomb out to A, and JR's going to realize the information quickly. Well, he's not coming market side.
Rotate back into the side defensive. Perfect crossfire as well. That bomb planted on the opposite side of default means that CT and Ramp can both watch the exact same angle. Petchin waiting back as JR keeps his eyes set on towards market. But doesn't find anything, it seems. Might just save this Galil. Won't find any more. JR was spotted. He gets a dink off from that particular range. That's impressive. But it will still lead towards 11 for ONYX. eSuba will just hold on to this one gun. Actually, JR's giving chase. He could catch up with him. He opts to go no further than the market doorway. But Petchin will maintain his life.
Yeah, ONYX just being able to put themselves in a position where they flash over. Okay, it's still pretty decent that Twist is able to get a couple of kills. I don't know how he does that. It's JR in window, and then realizing that Petchin's out on B to bring that bomb over to the A site, play out the crossfire. ONYX up to 11. And eSuba, they were, what, 5-3 up at one point on Mirage? How is this? It's difficult to even think they had not only an advantage, but a lead of 2 rounds to what we're seeing now.
Now, ONYX have brought this back and found a new lease on life. Luca's trying for one out of the apartments, but he's just going to meet death in Dimkey, spraying him down to 16 HP. The pistol trying to make a bit of a eco play. Petchin being the only man on a gun. The only real potential eSuba have in this round is probably imagining that he just looked for the kills, maybe even save it into the next one. To an eco basis for the CT side.
Yeah, eSuba, gotta wonder, in terms of a stack, just how heavy this could really be and how they can set the glue up for Petchin. He's out in ladder. If they don't completely hard check him, he could be on for a couple.
Now with a Molotov. Smoke out towards this short position. Galil out on the first player. Gets only that first player. And now Luco there to fall apart the same. P250 held back here at Van. They end up catching one player out of the apartments. And indeed he does get that kill. Anything more than this would be a miracle. And indeed Dimkey takes that frag together. 3 on 2 for ONYX. Waiting to get the bomb down here. Going to hunt for the 1 CT out back of the Brucey spot. The Impulse will find him in the end. All left to Savannah. 1v3 for the Jewelies. Might as well go for this because they have got guns in the next round. The likelihood of him getting the round itself, however, is very, very slim. And even he knows this. Dealt with by Bondic. 12-6.
He's been liking the Julies, hasn't he? We've seen Savannah a few times on pistol rounds and on Nico's going for them. Not really finding the level of success they would have liked. Petchin only won with the only rifle they had in play that got saved in. Luco just trying to stall for as much time as possible. Twist as well to the back of the site, hoping for any kind of kills. Doesn't really come through. ONYX up to 12 and getting closer and closer to that land spot.
Closer and closer. With only 4 rounds, the difference. ONYX on the right track. eSuba need to find a response soon, else they could be as good as done here. Orp looking in, caught off by Luco. Decent damage done to Impulse and the kill on Bondic. Blogis will fall and Savannah also goes down to the hands of JR, so swings out from ONYX. Will get into the site, get that bomb down, force the CTs away, including Dav's mid-flank that could catch off players. Petchin will deal with him, so the retake could still come through.
Dimkey's got to stall for time, even getting mollied out by the CT side. That's going to force him into the open. He's in a very difficult position now.
Sprays through for Luco, can't catch him. Nades incendiary, still wins that fight. That's all important. Pechin finally trades him, and still they've got Impulse sitting at 6 points of health. Smokes on Impulse, watching above the stairs angle. CT's on the site with Smokes going down, looking for the diffusers. Nades in. AK catches one. Pechin sticking the diffuse. USP too far out. Too far out. He's got an 8th. A 7th, I should say. eSuba hold down the round, get there first on the CT side.
Oh my goodness, what a round for them to just stick the defuse like that. How Dimkey was able to not only stay alive, but find that kill towards jungle in the top of con, I won't know. The util down on the site, the 2 smokes on the cross. This feels like it's going to be an easy round. Instead, JR's got to reload. Impulse is trying to tap away, and they just can't find it.
eSuba find an all-important round, one that they absolutely needed. ONYX. Look at how careful they're taking this round. Look at how passive they are at the T-spawn. Expecting CT aggression, expecting eSuba to have a breath of life. A moment of confidence that could overextend, could give up the opening kill to the T's. They're hoping for it, but eSuba aren't biting.
Even to top mid, it's very dry. Not going in for that top mid smoke, not catching any vision. It allows Luco to find that first pick. He gets out of there alive on 22.
ONYX with a pick on 4v4. Luco does not last long off the back of that opening advantage. Smokes down over at jungle. Savannah and Bloggers, however, get 2 trades on the site. Pechin also chimes in out towards short, doubles up with a secondary kill on JR. And eSuba will actually find 8 this time. ONYX, not a lot of cash here for this one. This might be an eco round. Tactical timeout called in by them.
And the difficulty of making your way up connector sometimes is dealing with that short play on just that sort of area of the map. Normally we see it mollied or just smoked off. And it allowed Pechin to just start moving forward, and with everyone's eyes being so tunnel vision towards the A site itself, rather than looking on that backstab and that flank attempt, Pechin was just able to find a couple of kills, and from there, the round's pretty much over. ONYX been up to 12 for a couple now, and for eSuba, they're giving themselves a fighting chance in this second half.
Now they are. 4 rounds the difference. Tech 9s at Eagles, the P250 for Bondic as well. ONYX. Straight up and out into the apartments. Fast rush in with the Tech 9s out. Incendiaries will dish out damage to Dimkey and JR. Twist close to the SMG, gets that 1 frag. Can't get a second, that's what Pechin's there for. Bloggers comes up with his kill, but Dimkey with 2 kills to respond. Bloggers forced away. Bomb's been dropped out towards the short plant position. Nades in, should do some damage to Dav, but he can still secure this plant follow-up. HG catches that man in the end. It's all left to Dimkey for the ace clutch. If he secures this, I'll be impressed. Swing back, taps on the head of the first man, so a 3rd kill for him. Back in against Bloggers, orb shot, baited! Dimkey, surely not. Surely you won't do this. Surely you won't do this. Smokes back in, gonna get himself a bit of cover. Swing out to the other side, gets the dink off. Oh my god! Dimkey somehow comes up with the most ridiculous clutch.
Oh my goodness, what is that? That might be the sickest play in the tournament. The ace on an eco. The Tech 9, the way that he was able to isolate the 1v3. Dimkey, he's a legend.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. That shot right there set him up perfectly. And he knew it himself. Look at eSuba. Look at how crippled they are off the back of that. Dimkey MVP for that round and that round alone. Because it might be enough to give ONYX their 14th, 15th, and 16th as they pick apart eSuba. Like a little child picks apart a spider. Bomb will go down. 2v3 on for eSuba.
Oh, Twist and Bloggers. How do you even fight your way into this one? Yeah, you've picked up the AWP. You've got no kit to work with. They need picks, and they need them in quickly. They don't know about JR in window.
There you go, shots on, taken away, Dimkey. Another pick to add to his tally as if he needs any more. And Twist overwhelmed by JR in the mid-control. Orb recovered, 14 for ONYX. 2 rounds to the V4 Future Sports Festival for this squad. eSuba on the ropes. They did go for eco, so they do have a bye.
Honestly, you talk about MVP of that ace, I think he's MVP of the game. Just his consistent nature across map 1, map 2, now even in map 3. Yeah, he's not top fragging like Impulse is for the T side. He's still putting up numbers, and he's just won one of the biggest rounds probably of his whole career, when you think about it. 2 more to go. And ONYX, that 16th, it's looming. They can see it. They can feel it.
Clutches like that don't come on every day. And again, that could be enough to set them up for the series win. Rifles back in for eSuba. Orp set for Impulse. Does get caught issue by Bloggis. That's a hell of a start.
That's an opening kill. A man advantage that is desperately needed for the CTs. The Czechs will love that. And now start seeing if they can work the information. Start rotating Twist away from that B side. Just leaving Bloggis and the Orp still on the same sight line in the apartments.
Smoke set into the mid control. Back on with the Molotovs as well. T-side players making their way up and into the short presence. 3 of them moving forward with Petchin trying to watch out from that room. Can he stop them? He lets 2 cross. Sees that bomb carrier. Catches the most important kill of them all with Bloggis in the Orb. Gets himself a triple. Looks in for the quadra. Dav can trade him. But that's 1 kill out of 5 he needs on this clutch. He gets his second. Not again, ONYX. Please, God, not again. The Tech 9 was silly enough. This will get you on map points.
Yeah, Dav's just hoping for extra damage. Because, honestly, the bomb plant, it's not really that necessary. I mean, even getting the bomb's going to be difficult. If they can chip in with more players falling on the city side, it's going to ruin the investment in the next round. Dav doesn't have a lot of time to work with. Doesn't have any util either.
20 seconds. Any util dropped on this T-side player here. There's a smoke right there on the dead body of the CT individual. Flashes go over. Swings in. Twist and Looker are close. Looker gets that frag in. eSuba with 9. Survival by the skin of their teeth. By a single thread of life. ONYX lost out quite a bit of money in that particular investment round. So seeing this come to fruition. See the guns back out of the force by an AK and an AWP are the only rifles they have, though.
Good to see Bloggis finding some impact in that last round, because he's been 43 kills and 36 deaths over the course of map 1 and map 2. Map 3's been incredibly quiet.
Nades up. Damage done to Bondic to start. Mac 10 in for JR. Catches 1 player out of connector. Bomb passed off the Dab. Will go for a pretty open plant here. Savannah sees his man. Catches that spray. Denies that bomb plant for the time being. Dim King can pick it back up and attempt it a second time.
The CT still trying to see if they can press through. More damage coming through from those smokes. Bondic's incredibly low.
The flanking from JR out towards that murder hole could be everything. If he can get around towards CT spawn. Petchin also wins counter flank and Bondic seeing him. Tech 9 wins the fight. And now 2 left standing. Gotta go for this retake. eSuba losing players 1 by 1. And now JR's gonna seal the deal on Bloggis. Tagging the 10 points of HP. He will lose his life. But T-side players crawling all around to remove this rifle from play. And remove any chance for eSuba to clutch this match and qualification point for ONYX.
Perfect timing for JR. And even though this bomb does get denied, it was how quickly those trades came in. What is with it with the Tech 9s for ONYX? Low HP Bondic just being able to try and wrap back into ramp. Goes, oh, actually, there's a CT here. The follow-up damage coming through wrecks the economy completely. The buy state for eSuba going into what could be the last round of this game is horrendous.
The smoke's up. M4 is leaning in for Twist. Down into the mid control. The SMG for Savannah looks up. Ahead of the smoke here at the wrap position. So far, so little has been gained. No casualties for either side.
So patient from Bondic, and it's got to be patient for ONYX in this round. They're looking to go back over to the set piece. Savannah has got aggressive with the MP9 into ramp.
SMG set in ready. Out towards ramp, 2 players defined, 3 players defined. Actually, Dab's going to go ahead and join the fray. Frag on the first, not quite that second. Dab is low, AWP waiting for a second CT to come out. Here, there's a gap in that smoke, which he couldn't quite catch. JR now starts walking into connector, finds Bloggis next. 4 on 3. Luko with a 5-7 still waiting here at the corner position. CT's on the ramp, have CT presence. JR comes up with a kill. Twist can trade it alongside Petchin now with a FAMAS out. Locking out the crossfire, hoping to catch the T-side players as they make their way into the A play. They're slowing down the pace for now. Will Reaggressor get that bomb in? No support on the site itself. Burst fire for the mask. Gets that kill. Twist to secure the bomb itself. Petchin jump faces. Actually, no. He's looking for the frag, and that might cost them some time.
Well, they can't get the bomb down now. Impulse has really got to try and see if he can find a fight, force the issue. The time is running low, and the CTs just aren't really peeking. They know where they are.
Bomb attempted. Spray through for the FAMAS. AWP's watching it. The bomb does go down. M4 looking for his swing. Impulse backs up. Warbang secured. Now all left of the AWP. Impulse has been stellar so far with his first frag. Can he get the second to close it out on another clutch for ONYX? He's back up towards Firebox, jump facing, seen, M4 spray, does his damage, can't get the kill. The USP knows that he's low. The Orpal's going to get his first shot and Twist just with the jump face. Will find the round. eSuba stay alive.
Well, it's a survival round. It keeps them in the game for just a little while longer. Only 1 player surviving. Get over to that AWP. Get that over to Bloggis in the next round. Great stuff coming through. Savannah up close and personal out from ramp, doing as much as possible. eSuba, I really thought that round was over with this kill here from JR.
I was under the impression of the same thing as well. But eSuba just continued to find ways back into this game. T-side players quick in with the execution. Going to try and end this fast once again with the Tech 9s and Deagles out. This worked last time. Why can't it work this time? JR in. Bloggis catches the kill. JR with 1 frag, but Twist has found a second one in the mix. He's waiting back behind bench. Finds Dab's head. Looks back for JR. Makes it a triple. And they're all left towards Impulse with the 1 versus 3. Deagle out for him. Don't want to count out the clutch until the clutch itself is over. But his chances are still slim.
Just being able to do more economical damage. Get that bomb plant if he can. Dimkey does not have a lot of money. The respect being given. eSuba just not even peeking forward when they hear that bomb being tapped.
Give up the plant, just go for the retake, go for the round. What we need here, because ONYX are going to be forcing out several times over the course of the rest of this map. Flash in, Orp bringing out. Luko gets tagged by the nade from Bloggis. We'll finish off the last individual. Impulse to fall. eSuba up to 11.
Just working their way 1 round at a time. And in that one there, yes, there's a bomb plant. Yes, there's a couple of kills. It's still keeping that AWP in play. It's still keeping the momentum up and the confidence too. The JR just trying to use that MAC-10 as a laser down as entries. Everyone else, though, couldn't really crack it open. Twist staying alive for so long at that bench position. 4 more to go to get to OT. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Still got pressure in from ONYX, who've been playing lights out so far again. JR tagged early in his confrontation and does get picked up by Bloggis' AWP. Luko assisted with damage earlier in this round. But just that 1 pick, ONYX are playing passive.
A great opening man advantage being found. An important one for Bloggis. Even in terms of the mid players, do they try and boost up into window? If they do, they will need to fight the AWP and Petchin in ladder.
Have leaning in. Inside, walking up, Petchin. With the M4, Luko. Gonna find a gap in that smoke, and he has found one as it clears. It's Dav to fall. Dimkey also spotted. Sprays through, not connecting. Flashbang forward. Luka can still get caught off. Dimkey's got his back turned towards the man, and the USP is good enough for the frag. 2 left standing as Impulse gets 1 trade, but he falls to his death. I can only assume he burned somehow. I don't know. It's a suicide anyway, as eSuba connect 12.
And just keep that round with really only 1 player falling. Bloggis with a great AWP pick up from top mid. Difficult situation for Luko being completely blind and Dimkey just not being able to clear that angle entirely. Yeah, some sort of suicide coming in. And for ONYX, things are getting tough. They are struggling to close it here.
Tactical timeout called in for them. Their fourth, actually, I think, in this game. 15-12, ONYX. Okay, this is their fourth. This is the final tactical for the ONYX side, and they know that they got to close it out soon. I'll see eSuba could take us to another OT. How hungry these guys must be, having gotten so close, but ONYX still hold all the advantage.
And for eSuba, they've done it really without a star player. Honestly, when you have a look at the kill distribution, everyone's been finding impact. It hasn't quite been like the way it has for ONYX, where Impulse has been clearly one of the strongest entities that they have. Dimkey's been able to have some beautiful rounds himself. 3 more to go for eSuba. And I guess when you kind of look at the money state, we're looking at round 28 not having much. You got a hero AK coming through from Impulse, everyone else forcing down. So there is still a lot of money being pushed at this round.
Tech9's the Eagles, and AK in for Impulse. Broken force up for ONYX. They'll let this go down to a 15-14 if they have to. Get the money bonus on the eco in the next round. eSuba clinging on for dear life. They could get another moment. Another good round for them. Unless the Tech9 strike again with the AK of Impulse. Impulse is the man you're looking at for the most part.
Being able to get that boost into window, even up to top connector, they need to take a couple of fights. And for JR, he's given away the early information. Dimkey's peeking in too, so they know that there's 2 T-side players towards the bottom of con, and Petchin peeks in.
Great start, great frag, doubling up against JR as well. 5-on-3. Have out a dodge.
Interesting.
Petchin sees his man, can't catch him. The AWP turns around anyway. Savannah with his kill, not quite that second. Impulse finally chimes in, but he's only good for 1. Blogis ready to get his double up, and indeed he will be able to do so. 13 for eSuba. Eco time for ONYX.
And that was a great gap in the window for Dav, and then just gets seen. That information coming around quickly with the comms. Savannah being able to turn around 180 degrees, get that no-scope off. eSuba up to 13, and ONYX, they have to eco to play for round 30. They can't buy it up again.
Going with full guns for a 16-14. Set piece execute with 2 smokes, a Molotov and a flash. Down the Canadian jungle and stairs. Flash is coming in for Dav as well to give a bit of support. Bloke on for the CT side will try to counteract them, and they've got to make their moves in. Nice nade. Dav's low, so is Impulse. Dav's dead. Savannah does get caught off guard by JR up close range. 4 versus 4. Bomb can go planting, so they get bonus money. What more can ONYX find?
Well, they're trying to get out to CT. They actually want to take these aggressive duels, and for JR, he's the one that's trying to use his AK to best effect.
Twist gets his 2 picks in alongside Petchin with support that steals 1 away. Dimkey turns the Liga back to a 2 versus 2. Sees Blogis, that AWP peeking out of jungle, dishing out some damage, taking a bit more, but gets his kill alongside Twist. And eSuba maintain their lives. A 14th round to the board. Plenty of money to rebuy around as well. And we go the full 30 round distance. Another close series. And another buy on for ONYX.
We went 26 rounds, Jay, on map 1, 28 rounds on map 2, and now we're going the full 30. Dimkey really struggling to get that pick off to the jungle area. ONYX, it's a good looking buy, because they're able to do that as much damage as possible, be able to get that bomb plant too. It gives Impulse the AWP, AK's out for everybody else. And for eSuba, they're going double orbs. I like this from Savannah and Bloggers, because they found some decent success with it the last couple.
Bloggers set into the apartment. Savannah set out towards the back of the A site. ONYX will lean their way into that A commitment once again. Where is the confidence from these boys? Where is the last round? The one round that they need. Smokes down, trying to get blocked by Luko. May have generated a gap. I can't quite tell. Nades up, Dimkey. Molotov in all the same. The Molotov's back at the T-side line. AWP. Caught. Finds his frag. Dimkey to drop. Luko waiting back here with the M4. Double up for the AWP with a wall bang. Maybe even deny the bomb plot for a third time, perhaps. Impulse gets his own AWP frag, but now it's Luko's turn to deny the bomb. Impulse and Dav, last two players remaining. And it looks like eSuba are going to lock this out. Dav can get one good frag. Now they know where he is. Impulse will creep out. I think they're pretty aware of where he is. And indeed, he will be the last man left in his 1v3 clutch. Will burn Savannah at least. But to get the bomb down and go for anything else is going to be very difficult in this round. And they don't look at actually. No, it doesn't quite land, and the play up towards short has been seen.
Now still needs to try and take a fight, get that bomb, pick it up, go down to the default position. Has the idea that both players are coming through, and they're walking now. They're starting to run.
Braze through, Impulse gets the one frag, turning around to a 1v1. He's on 14 HP, but on for the quadra clutch. Sees Blogis, but cannot register his kill as Blogis holds the AWP frag, holds the 15th, holds eSuba in overtime.
Here we go again. OT in map 3 to see who is the last team to make it forward to land. Luko, great round from him for him to deny the bomb, push forward out to connector, and Impulse. That was his 30th kill right there, looking for his 31st, and Blogis with the flick of a lifetime with that AWP, not even looking at a default.
Ultimately leaving eSuba's survival. ONYX so close to the line, so close to the win, but just unable to get it. This one is going down to the wire. Both our final qualification games will go the distance as we expected, as we hoped for. But ONYX, man, the confidence they showed from map 2 and over the course of map 3, it's got a sting knowing you were that close. You were that close to taking this series, but it just wasn't to be.
No, not at all. At the same time, though, you've still got OT. It's not like the series is over completely. Yeah, it's going to sting knowing that you were able to have some really good rounds and that you were putting yourself up to victory road. In terms of the advantage going into OT, I couldn't call it.
And you got to feel bad for guys like Impulse and Dimkey, because they're the guys who have had the most number of frags, massive impact, ridiculous clutches. They're the guys who set ONYX up on that pedestal, but they couldn't quite close it out. Neither them nor their teammates. ONYX recognizing some of those mistakes again over the course of this matchup that could have allowed that one extra round, that one extra kill, that one extra inch that gets them past the finish line. But now they've got to travel another mile. MR3, 16k. That's what we're playing for here in OT.
Here's that round again on the ace. Just incredible stuff coming in for Dimkey. And when you look at the economy game of what actually happens after that, ONYX are up 13-8. You've got a reset. And then eSuba just start really coming alive. We see the way that ONYX just crumble when it matters the most.
That's the key thing, right? When it matters the most. eSuba holding their contention. And what was a 15-9 coming back so effective. And ONYX with no further tactical pauses, can't take the knee. They'll use the extent of this entire OT break to figure out where they go from here. Because they have been on the precipice of that victory. Again, so close for contest.
It's this round as well that starts leading it back. eSuba just don't even really have weapons, do they? 15-9 up, you've got 6 opportunities of closing, and it just doesn't happen. Twist and Petchin working together to be able to get the round on. And for ONYX, there are so many clutch situations that they lost in some of these late rounds. It's not an excuse, though.
No excuses at this stage when lands on the line. That qualification spot is all important to these boys. ONYX, they must know that. eSuba must also feel that pressure as well. You've got to get some decency together. You've got to close out this map. Again, magic number is 19 for this overtime when it's ready to begin. ONYX and eSuba will do battle one final sequence. Here we go. T-side start for ONYX. AK is out. Impulse has not bought anything. He eventually buys that AWP. eSuba have the single AWP for Bloggy. Surprised they're not going for the double AWPs. It did work out really well for them.
Yeah, I'm with you there. They found a lot of success in the back end of that second half with having Savannah and Blogis on those AWPs. They're going to opt against it. They've got something in mind. Playing out from the sandwich position in the early round, ONYX just starting to get players up to the top mid area. And Petchin has been deadly out in ladder these last handful of rounds.
Nades on, smokes down, Luco. Looking for the CT contact. Waiting for their opponents to show their heads. Look for that opening CT kill, but Petchin gets caught off first. JR opens up with an opening.
And now they can slow it down. They've still got a minute on the clock. They've done a lot of damage onto Bloggers. They've won out that opening fight. See if they can bait in an over-rotate or a mistake. Even Bondic is just waiting outside of the ramp position just for an overextension. Walk into A. This seems to be the right read.
Up and out, Dav to wrap around the corner. Can't see the player in a sandwich. This could be a big opening for Savannah now. Bondic caught straight through, turn around for the second frag. Look for the triple, no. Dav turns it to a 2v2. Twist keeps it together. The bomb not yet going planted. It's going to go right back in towards that short presence. And now Bloggers with the AWP scoped in, hurt facing, gets his shot together. It's all on Impulse with his own AWP in 20 seconds, thinking there might be a B commit, but Twist recognizing there might still be an A play. Makes his way up with the M4, fires back. Impulse tries to hunt for that player. We'll get the bomb down, try clutch this.
He's been in these clutch situations before. AWP tries to get up to default and it just doesn't happen. ONYX all over the place in that round. Yes, they were able to get the mid control. They were able to get the picks. They're thinking like they want to go B, but then they think they want to go A, and they're getting quite hesitant. Even for JR, they've got the idea that someone's playing up from short side. He has great mechanics to be able to jump his way up into that ladder room area. They don't peek together though, so there's no way they can isolate a trade.
eSuba find that lead on the 16th round. ONYX. Mistakes being made to allow that round to go the way of the CT forces, knowing that they could still do better. And it's those small mistakes that will make the biggest differences at this stage in the game. We've gone our executions, we've exhausted our strat books. It's all down to the quality of the play. And right now, eSuba have it one better.
Yeah, ONYX just... so much is being taken away from them. This is so many rounds in a row now for eSuba. 7 on the trot. This is crazy.
Up in. Watching, hoping, utility comes down, flashes go over, evaded. Shot connects to the first man, Bloggis. All important. Opener doubles up as well. 5 on 3. CTs have all the advantages as JR gets caught out towards mid. Now it's left towards 2 players in the apartments. Nades toward their position. eSuba have got all of the right calls.
Oh, ONYX are just, they're slipping apart completely. Bloggers can even finish up with another kill, turns it into 3, and ONYX on the B exec have just found nothing. JR on that lurk up from short. Bloggers even aggressing into the apartments. This could be his quadra. Oh, what a flick to come through for Dav. eSuba up to 17. What is happening with the Serbians of ONYX?
Whatever it is, eSuba are enjoying it right now. All the frags being found, all the rounds coming their way. 17 to the boards. Bloggis, man, what a sequence it was from him. As his own AWP steps up to the plate and becomes the winning element. Flashes in towards mid. JR's going to start swinging as well. Barman leaning forward with Bloggis' AWP. He's tucked over on the A side, leaving only Twist to defend B.
Yeah, Luco, very aggressive in connector. Impulse with the AWP. Does he see some vision? He must have just seen him on the crack at the top of the smoke.
Headshot that comes in for him regardless. Pick found to start. Whether it be a guess, whether it be info. It's a frag, and I don't think that ONYX are going to be complaining about that.
They do have to... Yeah, they've got to pop open the vent, right? And that just gives all the information to JR.
As I said, still hoping. Incendiary's on, just further suppression utility from eSuba. ONYX are going to move on, and finally they find that pick.
That's the problem of popping over the vent late round, is if you do need to use it, you give away a huge audio cue, and even Bondic is just waiting for the aggression out from Rap. That's where Savannah is.
Blades on. Oh, lots of damage done to the players that are all in connector. Impulse, Dimkey, Dav tagging a lot of damage, but still they find the picks on the rotators. B site's completely open, but that bomb's committing towards the A site. Savannah's been heard. Bondi gets his frag. Petchin lines up 2 kills, can't quite make it a third. His knife's out with flanks inbound from CT spawn, and JR will close it down for a 16th round for ONYX.
Oh, they end the streak. Finally, 8 in a row eventually came through from eSuba before ONYX bounced back. And JR, well, that's a good round for him. The way that he's able to sneak in, the molly, that utility is perfect. The way that it spreads perfectly, that even when he's sort of boosted up on that pop position, it still burns him. JR then gets into the backlines, out from spawn to deal with the last. And that would have felt like a long time coming for ONYX just to get that one round.
All important one that decides the... Oh, sorry, denies, I should say, the impossible 3-0 half. The elusive 3-0 half in the case of eSuba, it would have been enough. In the control, ONYX. Set with their guns on the first of their CT side rounds. eSuba, the AKs, the AWP back in for Blog. It's no need for double AWPs this time. Set in to watch for the crosses back out over at the jungle position. No one is going to give him the contact.
Now, you'd have to imagine for Bloggers, this could be a walk forward, flash over the top. No, nothing. It's very dry and it allows Impulse to find the first.
Frag moves his way forward, looks back, can't connect his flick. Second and third shots, fourth shot still not connecting. Bondi gets overwhelmed as Luco and Savannah do find their trades. JR brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Will burn, be sprayed, be naded to death. And finally, they gain the advantage back for the T side, but it only lasts for a brief moment of respite. Dav responds towards Twist, puts utility down to buy some cover, nades in. Bomb still dropped back there towards Dark. Someone's going to pick it up and plant it, and the CTs might not give him the time of day. They're going to swing. They're going to look for the likes of Luco, but he's waiting back behind hard cover and sprays through Petchin Seed. So's Luco going down. ONYX finds 17.
Did he see him? What? That just looked like a straight wallbang to come through from Dav. Impulse just doing as much damage as possible behind the back, a triple. eSuba doing crazy damage onto the site defenders. JR just trying to get out of there. Dav bringing the advantage back. Oh, jeez. He must have seen him as he strafed back in. That is still not an easy shot to hit.
It's still going to be the kill. The AWPs engage each other and Bloggers can't find the start. eSuba chanting straight up into the B site. They did not like how that round turned out, but they do apply the brakes. The incendiary forcing a smoke and eSuba falling back.
Interesting that they slow it down rather than just continuing that, because a lot of times when you go for a big exec, if you get that first kill, you run with it, and instead they slow it down. They try and see if they can maybe move back over to T-spawn. They don't know if ONYX has made an aggressive info play. Double pump in the apartments. Ooh, they've still got Dimkey on the site and Dav 2 to defend.
Walk in for Petchin. Trying to find his way up. ONYX holding the even standing, finding that one pick out from underpass, I believe is where that one player came from. JR gets back into the A side, but it's all down to the B defensive, or is it? eSuba might go for a last second rotate.
Oh, what is going on here? Is it hesitation? Is it just being overcomplicating things? Because even for JR, flash over the top, he's hearing some of these footsteps and seeing the util in from mid.
Now get up a last second split play. No one's going to spray through that smoke. AK leans in, looks up towards the balcony. They still find Petchin regardless. Dav swings back, can't get his second. Dimkey can though. M4 holding back, waiting for backup to arrive. Luca's going to force around the corner, get that engagement to a 2 versus 2. But there's such low HP, it's easy pickings for the likes of Bondic and Bloggis. All that remains. AWP up, can find the one man. 5 seconds though, sticking the bomb plant. Bondic can make his way up to position for this. Who's going to see who's going to get this first shot? HP advantage for the CT player. The M4 prematurely fires. The AWP missing its shot. A counter nade back. He's done so much damage. It's easy for the spray. And Bondic comes up with a 2K and with match point, with qualification point for ONYX again.
Oh, Bondic. The 2 Ukrainians in that situation do not play it together at all. JR just running through, trying to deny that bomb from going down. Heartbreak almost comes in as that round is not secured. Luco doing the best he can with Bloggers to bring that round forward, and Bondic just with the nade, that extra chip damage to get the M4 kill forward. eSuba, they're going to have to take it to another OT.
Tactical timeout still held in their back pocket. Their fourth and final one called in this map-up. With 18-17 standing by, like you mentioned, Blake, they've got to take it to a second OT. ONYX can end it right here still.
They've been in this position before, at least for eSuba. They've been down when their backs are completely up against the wall. They've only got to get one round. It's not like coming back from 9-15.
It's very possible, very likely. Example of anything can happen. This most certainly can. Nades up, JR watching with the AUG out towards the mid control, seeing nothing of the T side. We'll just wait with Incendiaries back at the CTs, making their way up towards mid control.
Savannah thinking about an aggressive mid play, something we haven't really seen from either team on City side. And Dav just jiggle peeking, looking over on the corner of that top mid smoke. There is going to be a fair bit of T-side presence coming his way.
Oak set and held. Utility on as the T-side continue to walk forward, try and make their way in towards that B play. They've got Dimkey and Dav on the B site crossfire. eSuba gonna go to the B hit. Gonna wait and hold with flashes that do go over towards mid position. 50 seconds though, the commitment's got to come out towards apartments, and JR's going to catch Savannah.
They've still got 2 on B to hold the crossfire. Dav has got to get mollied out for this van position, forced down to the open. Luco to entry.
Oh, what a transfer straight towards him. Dav with a secondary pick, a 5-on-3 now. eSuba falling apart. The seamless JR gets his next kill. Dav will drop the bomb, and finally ONYX would have done it. Didn't need to go to OT, but eSuba wanted a little bit more for their money. 19-17, ONYX with a 2-1 series as they move forward to the V4 Future Sports Festival.